Today in Warframe, we're going to go over the Dread Incarnon. Overall, the Dread is one of Stalker's weapons. How you charge it? It's an Incarnon weapon. Get, I think, on average 5 headshots, and then it charges. The shtick of the Dread Incarnon is it turns into the Natteruk, essentially. It's an infinite punch-through heat bow. So once it goes Incarnon form, you just start popping off enemies in a line. It works with CC if you get them all bunched together, and it just straight up has infinite punch through, so it works the same as the Natteruk bow. So it's a really strong weapon, and that's why today in Warframe we're going to talk about it, since you can farm the Dread Incarnon from the circuit this week. Words are hard. Either way, let's go over the Dread Incarnon. The Dread Incarnon is a Evolution 1, sacrifice silence for increased projectile size and heat, infinite punch through heat bow. Once you go on to Evolution 2, base damage gets a huge buff and huge buff damage to enemies below half health, or with Hate and Despair equipped, hits increase base damage by 10% fire rate, stacks up 5x, resets on missed shots. So Stalker bonus, Stalker bundle. You can then choose 30% projectile speed, negative zoom, or increase base ammo capacity to 144. And honestly, choose whatever you want. I just chose projectile speed. From there, increase base critical chance and base status chance by 10%. Not bad, right? Then you have increased base status chance by 24%. So if you're going for a full status build, go for it. Or increase base critical damage multiplier by 1x, which obviously means that this thing is insane for general crit damage style heat builds. My build is as follows. Serration for damage, Galvanized Chamber for Multishot, Vital Sense for crit delay for crit chance, Primary Deadhead for damage increase, headshots, headshot multiplier, Prime Cryo Round for damage cold, and we want to make viral heat down here, but it's nothing too important. Next up I have a Riven here. If you have a Riven, don't have a Riven, sorry, just swap this out for a Toxin mod, and if you want, I have Thermite rounds here. Swap that out for Galvanized Aptitude or something along the lines of that if you don't want to have the additional status there. Or you could just put a higher tier heat on, because I want viral heat, so I'm just keeping it with viral heat. Then I had Vigilante Fervor here. If you want even more attack speed, you can throw on, I believe it's Vile Acceleration. And as always, you can throw on anything for just increased damage, like Hammer Shot over there, Vigilante Armaments, Rifle Elementalist if you want to do more of an elemental build, Hunter Munitions with Rifle Elementalist, right? There's a lot of options, but I like to keep a couple basic builds. That's my first build for Multishot. This is my second build for Headshot. It's pretty standard, right? I swapped out Galvanized Chamber and the Riven for Galvanized Scope and Primary Acuity. Still have Crit Delay, Vital Scent, Fervor, Malignant Force, so that I can hit Toxin Viral Heat here. But hey, if I had more Forma, this is just a 3 Forma build, I'd probably throw in this bad boy right here instead and do a little bit of shenanigans there. But for right now, those are the 2 builds I have going on. So let's do a damage build on the headshot build, and then I'll do a damage build showcase on the multi-shot build, and then I'll take it to Warframe 1999 so you can get kind of a visual look at what's going on. So this is the headshot build. You're gonna see the red crits here. It's gonna do a ton of damage. Like, trust me, it's still OP and insanely strong, right? Look at that. I'm still hitting red crits. Not all of them are headshots or anything like that, but it's still infinite punch through. Each enemy it goes through, it does less damage, I think, is how this sort of weapon setup type works. But if you hit them in the head, it's still going to pop off for a lot of damage. And you're still probably going to one-shot them somewhat easily. So it is a good weapon still, no matter how you look at it. See, I'll do one blast into each of them. The issue is when there's the tall one at the top or in the front, or a short one, so then you end up missing their headshots. And I do want like Galvanized Scope and everything to buff up, so I do want to hit those headshots like that too. So it's a little weird. The projectile flame, it doesn't hit headshots too well because it is a forward AoE, so I think it reduces the headshot multiplier to like 1x. It's a weird thing about the Dread. So yeah, the headshot multi might not be the most optimal build type setup. So hey, take that with a grain of salt. But as you can see, it doesn't really technically work properly. I think on the Warframe wiki, it did say that on headshot multiplier, on Incarnon form. Let's see, Infinite has a headshot multi of 1x, has slower Incarn. Yeah, so it doesn't really have much of a headshot multiplier, even with those big headshot damage boosts. So it's definitely a little bit weird of a setup, but then non-Incarnon form still absolutely slaps. So this is one of those cases where you might like to do a headshot non-Incarnon form build, but I would actually totally prefer to do a multi-shot build then. And instead of primary deadhead, I totally forgot about that, to be honest. I would probably just throw on primary merciless on both of these because, yeah, that's my bad. I totally did forget about the 1x headshot multiplier. That's why sometimes I go over the wiki live. And then we just go from there. Still gonna do a ton of damage because on base Incarnon, and this is the multi-shot build. Base form still really strong, but then if I have the multi-shot build, right? Look at the punch through. Multiple damage procs, multiple fire hits. It's not the best weapon, but it's not the worst weapon. So let's take it to Warframe 1999 so you can see how it handles against like infested enemies. Because as you can see, it is heat and it is still like good damage, so it's still gonna destroy them, right? Like look at that, the punch through is still sick. And this is without me using like wisp buffs or anything. When I take it to Warframe 1999, Steel Path, we'll use the Sly Vulpaphyla, and we'll also use my wisp buffs just to make it really fun. Because then we can shoot like a mother trucker. Either way. We'll continue on in Warframe 1999, Steel Path. Thank you all. And as always, if you want to support the channel, sub, like, you can hype up the YouTube video, comment down below, and use Epic Games creator code Pupsker if you ever buy anything on the Epic Games Store, as I am an Epic partner, and it helps me out. So let's get to Warframe 1999. Okay, so now that we're actually over in Warframe 1999, we can see we're still hitting millions. We're still hitting those good buffed red crits occasionally because of our pet and everything. And if I throw buffs on here, throw on my Dread, absolutely shreds through hordes of enemies, right? So one good thing to note about this weapon is it pairs insanely well with a generic Warframe CC AoE pull-ins, right? Any sort of vortex like that. It works so well with that because of the infinite punch through. So any CC where you can pull in enemies, 10 out of 10, works real well, okay? And overall the damage is just high on it, so you shouldn't have issues killing too many enemies by any means. You still have to make sure you fully charge it back, but it is a really strong weapon once you unlock and farm it up and get some good elements like viral heat going. You can also take advantage of doing an elemental build. I just never really bother with it. But if you, like I said earlier, throw on galvanized, galvanized aptitude, rifle elementalist, galvanized elementalist, things like that. Yeah, it's galvanized elementalist. I can't remember the exact names of everything, but throw on some of those mods and you should be good to go with any sort of build. Like this would slap with, I don't know, maybe a explosive build. With the heat it generates now, it really spreads well with my Vulpaphyla. So like I shoot out a lot of damage, it's killing a lot of them, but my Vulpaphyla is also spreading a lot of that status and heat. So it's actually getting a good boost there. Gotta fully charge it though when it's in Incarnon mode. Sometimes I forget that, sometimes I goof around. But yeah, you're just not hitting too many easy high millions with the multi-shot type build, but you're instantly killing all the enemies and you're able to do a ton of damage, so I don't know, I don't think it really matters. IMO. Still trying to shoot out headshots, but it's a little difficult, okay? Either way, I would say that is my Dread Incarnon Warframe Infinite Punch Through Heat weapon build. Let me know, everybody, what your opinion on the weapon is. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Or are you just going to stick with something like the Hate Incarnon? I'll try to get up a video for the Zylok, and I think the Despair as well, but I think I'm going to skip the Sibir. Or maybe I'll just make a casual video talking about the Sibir as well, just for this week for the Incarnons, because I haven't gone over a lot of them before, and I'm just trying to get out a lot of videos that people are looking for. Either way, everybody, let me know 100% if this video did help, if you plan to use the weapon, and if you ever do use any of the socials of me, or check out any of the social links to support the channel, I do appreciate it. Turn on your notifications for Twitch for whenever I stream, and I'll try to also stream on YouTube as well. Sometimes I 24/7 stream on Twitch, rerunning VODs when I'm not there. Other times I don't. Yeah, it just depends on the week. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.